thanks everybody for attending today. We do have proof posting in accordance with chapter 551 Texas Government Code as amended, also known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Is that correct? Thank you, ma'am. Before we start even with public comments, we don't have a problem if we move down to item number 6 on the agenda, the burn ban. To go ahead and get that done and talk to several fire departments. They're ready for a break.
You had 4 one morning, look at that.
I think yesterday was the first day in a long time that they didn't have something. So, would there be a motion to put the burn ban back on in Freestone County?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried, burn ban. At this time, we can go to, if there are any public comments this morning. Okay. That being said, we'll go to item number 1 to approve the minutes from February 4th, 2026 regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of February 4th. Regular meeting.
Second.
Have a motion, second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried, item number 2 to let the transfer to the minutes. Down to 2.
Make a motion to approve the budget amendments and transfers.
I second.
I'd like to point out that this transfer from care of prisoners to take money out of inmate housing and move it to inmate medical. That's kick below the belt.
That was for 2025, so that was last fiscal year.
Well, that helps. That fund is going down fast.
Yeah.
I have a
I was
motion.
wondering, it would be shuffling something
Yeah,
right back
well,
in
we're
place.
going to have to do it anyway, it's just a matter of time. So, can we have a motion in a second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried, item number 3 is to approve and pay bills.
These are just the medical and the basics, right?
Insurance and utilities. Insurance and utilities.
Yeah. I make a motion. We approve and pay the bills.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried, item number 4 to approve payroll.
Okay.
I think we need you on there, don't we?
We
I think you were
Oh, done
saying,
did.
Yeah, we said.
make a motion to pay the payroll. I'll second.
Have a motion second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried, item number 5, reports.
You get, constable to, he dropped it.
Okay.
It's not good.
have a report from Freestone County Constable Precinct 2. We had a extremely busy month just for January. Yeah. It's good to see. We also have a report from the Freestone County Tax Office. Have a report from the District Clerk's Office. Both of those again over the month of January. We have a racial profiling report, Constable Precinct 1. Have a report from Senior Services. Their home delivered meals went up quite a bit due to the weather, and that's still very good attendance. We have a report from the Freestone County Office of Emergency Management. It's a pretty good summary overall on the calls for all first responders in the county.
And the grass fire activity since February 1 is 15 grass fires, so that's.
And as of last Saturday, there was 19 since January. So there's been some since then. And then we also have a report from the Street and Volunteer Fire Department. They presented us with a P&L. Except for a request of their yearly funds. Are there any other reports?
I make a motion to accept all these reports.
I'll second.
Have a motion, second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 7, special road use agreements. I don't have any. If there are none, no action on number 7. Item number 8 is to approve bonds and education certificate for county employees and officials. Have a certificate of compliance and continuing education from County Trade Associations for Randy Shavers. And a certificate of compliance for the Public Funds Investment Acts of Randy Shavers. Any other voluntary education certificates? Have a motion to accept?
I'll make it motion.
Second.
Have a motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 9 is to discuss courthouse restoration and accept supplemental funding from the Texas Historical Commission. Now, the people I seen earlier that did speak public comments. So, we had anticipated a rough number of cost to the county being around $880,000. Once Karen got back from Austin, and we did receive the supplemental funding, which was $3,186,000. The percentage, the cost to the county, the match portion changed. And actually, this morning, we received as of yesterday, we were looking at the cost of the total amount of money, which was $1,874,000, cost of our match being 19.6%.
We moved from 12 to 19.6.
Correct. And the approved contract amount was $10,375,000. Total amount of the grant with supplemental funding was $9,565,000. So it left a $809,461 financial obligation to the county. So when you look at the 19.6, as of yesterday, that was 1.874 million, at 809,000. So our total obligation was going to be 2,684,000. That changed a little bit as of this morning because we did receive an email from the Historical Commission. And I spoke with our architect Sterling about this yesterday afternoon late, and he wasn't for sure why the change. We did get clarification that the 19.6% will be on the additional funding, the supplement. And so what that does is that will reduce that financial obligation that we thought was 2.6 million yesterday, and today it is $2,113,853. So
$2,183,000.
$2,113,853. Something else to keep in mind, I've read and reread and reread the actual contract with the Historical Commission. Nowhere can I find that we are bound to a specific start date for that restoration. And again, this is not monies that they're sending us, they're earmarked for us. At this time, I would hate to see any hasty decisions made on not moving forward because of this amount changing from 880,000 to 2.1 million. It's not costing us anything to wait and see. I reached out to Don Awalt this morning, kind of looking at what our taxable value is right now, and as far as what we're expecting that to change to. So as of right now, the county's taxable value is $3.8 billion. There's one project that has started as of last Friday that potentially puts an additional $6 billion to our taxable value. Keeping that in mind, currently, Pritchard and Abbott are doing their evaluations on the Tawakoni solar project. When they're through with that, they're going to move over to the Calpine Picker Plant project. We're hearing that that could be between 400 and 600 million in additional tax base, at which there is no abatement for the Calpine Picker Plant. So we'll get 100% of that. So today, I know that we're not prepared to start today, but I would hate to not sit on this as long as we can. Let these projects that are underway in the county develop and see how long we can hold on to this opportunity. And if we get the additional tax base, I mean, that's a 30% more than what we're at now. So I mean, we're going to double and then some within a 2-year period. It's going to change a lot, you know.
So we got a lot coming up to address with our jail. And bottom line, we can't make 2.1 million work right now.
Not right now, but I want to keep it alive, is what I'm saying. I would hope that we're looking, I would hope that in 24 months that we are looking for a place to put $2.1 million. And I think we can be that, you know. We hadn't even taken into consideration $300 million in lot sales at lake development. There are over 35 houses under construction right now. Those houses are from 6,000 to 12,000 square foot each. The restaurant is completed out there. That's another structure that will be, added to the tax values.
It's a golf course.
The golf course is second.
So you're saying right now, as of this, we could just not make a decision of today and put it to the side and see how long we can keep this money and go from there?
There are other counties that held onto that money. They did projects in increments, and we may get told different. Today, I'm just telling y'all that I can't find anything that dictates that we have to start by a certain time and finish by a certain time. The finish date is pretty much contingent on what the contractor anticipates his completion date to be. But outside of that, as long as there's not anything mandated on the start date, then let's just keep this available to us, Because in the future, moving forward with the restoration, regardless of what the cost is, it'd be nice if 80.4% of it was coming from somewhere other than our taxpayers.
I agree with that we have to come up with. We are so in need of a jail right now that was where our money's going. There's so much this outside housing that is killing us.
And I think with us waiting for a while, I think we could prioritize what we really need and what we can do. I mean, I think by waiting, and hopefully you can get that deferred for a while.
And we met with the Calpine bunch last Thursday, and they're talking about being finished with first quarter of 27, which is crazy. But their construction group, they said they say they do it 10 months, give us 11, but they can build us buildings. They got it down, I guess. But
So, do we know why the percentage rate went up?
Well, again, the email that we received
just on the
this
add-on.
morning,
Just on the
Just on the
add-on. So when we were looking at 2.6 million yesterday, as of this morning, we're looking at 2.1. So that clarification, when we redo the math, the 12% stays the same on the initial round of funding, 19.6 is on the supplemental. The cost that the contract is versus the total amount of grant money is still $809,000. That didn't change. So
if we leave it on the table and kind of hold off on it, the interest is not going to go up any further.
Correct. Yeah. No, it doesn't cost us anything to
Make a motion, we sit on it.
yeah, to keep this. The motion would need to be
Sit on it.
to accept the supplemental funding with intentions accept supplemental funding today with no intention to start restoration without approval at a future commissioner court date.
That's what it says.
Meaning that we still have intent of restoring this courthouse as soon as we can. I thought that's what you said, but I wasn't.
But I have a question. If we do that and then we decide for some reason we can't do it later, what happens then? Do we give this money back? I mean,
Well, we're not receiving the money.
is there any penalty or anything for it?
No, sir. No, sir.
as long as there's no penalty, yeah.
Yeah. It'd just be foolish to not keep this opportunity alive, It's not that any of us don't want to do it. I mean, I'm all for it, but financially right now, we're bleeding in other areas, and we've got to prioritize and address that. And in doing so, that's going to save us a lot of money, even if none of this tax base gets added. And some of the things that we didn't talk about being added, they're built now. And so we're going to see part of that. He said we don't have those numbers. The big ticket item is going from a value of $3.8 billion to a value of $9.8 billion. That's not counting what we're talking about getting on this year, which potentially is 900 million. So,
It's gonna be tough to wrap your mind around on a rural county when you get to thinking about that.
this would be larger than Big Brown coming here in the late 60s. This would be larger than XTO and Anadarko coming in here and starting to drill wells. It's a
It's sustainable valuation,
Yeah.
whereas these solar farms are, you know, this mandated accelerated deal just is crazy, you know, what we're dealing with.
yes, ma'am.
I appreciate y'all taking this into consideration and trying to work through it. I really do. I think it's very important for our county because we do need to preserve our courthouse. And I appreciate you working with the group here to not just say we can't do it now, but I think we can do it at some point. And I would hate to see us lose this opportunity since we do have all this, what, about $8 million that the state will give us. And I don't think we'd ever get that back again, that opportunity. So thank you for considering it. If this is the only way we can do it, let's work with it, and I'm very supportive of that. Anybody else have a comment?
Agree.
I mean, we really, that's our choice right now. You know, I mean, the money's not there, it's not there, but you can't count your chickens before the eggs hatch, but we do have things coming. And
And this gives us an opportunity to have to make some changes to cut back or what with the restoration. We still have that open to work with. Anybody got it? Thank you.
And when we visited that facility the other day, we were all, I was impressed with the way it was run, the way it was built, and it was in a neighborhood where probably, what were those houses worth? What do you think they were?
that neighborhood is probably $500,000 to $800,000 houses. I mean, when you look on the aerial, there's pools all through this scattered, but it's right across the street.
Right across the
You know,
street.
we went up there, everything the deal we made with them was in writing. Noise, water, everything, you know, lighting, I mean. And we went up there to pretty much verify, I mean, and it was something else. And there's a housing addition right across the street, probably far from here to Parker Mall over there, across the street from the entrance. There's one building we were in was 500,000 square feet. We went over there with everybody downloaded a different decibel meter, because, you know, just to compare the apps, because, you know, that they weren't all the same. Went over there and it was like or 4.7 or 4.8, and half of that was the cars on the busy street in front of it. And there was a lady walking and her dog, and Kevin Benedict went with us, and I think he asked her, said, what about the noise we hear? I mean, you know, the
She
street's loud.
said they had never complained.
Yeah.
And it's just been a non-issue.
And the building, there won't be a building that looks like this in Freestone County. That's wrought iron fence, landscape to the tilt. Not that, it was very impressive, the whole deal. I mean, we walked.
In the agreement, it said that they were gonna bring 40 jobs to our county, but it's 40 jobs
Per building. Per building. Now it's looking like 120 jobs. And there's a potential of a fourth building, another $2 billion. But that's no guarantee. But I mean, there's scuttlebutt if they get the electricity, and the other side of it, for me, if it fits all the mold, you know, no noise, you know, the noise, water's the biggest consumption. I mean,
Well, that and not taking power away from the grid.
not taking power away from the grid.
The electric
The
plant
grid, it's
replaces the
stressed.
plant, puts more power in the grid. The old plant is what's going to feed the data center.
And
So,
if ERCOT tells them, hey, the grid's stressed out, they've got to shut down, and everything goes back to the grid. But they're on a 110-acre footprint right now with this, whereas we're looking at these solar farms that are just consuming our agriculture production. Y'all, if all of them materialize in our county, It's pretty sad when you add the acreage up. It's probably 18,000 acres. You know how many cows and you know how much production that is out of, and a lot of it's good grass. I mean, it just makes you sick. This here, and for what they provide, valuation is, it's just, I don't want any more than, none of us do.
Now that the chapter 313 has sunset, I don't feel like we would have done what we done if the solar hadn't been for the school districts and the 313s. We did that to benefit them.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way to stop or prevent or
Well,
control the amount of it?
Well, Hood County, they had a moratorium on the table, and as of yesterday, they shut it down. That's taken a pretty drastic step, property rights, for me. You can't have it, I don't want them, but you can't have it both ways. And who
We
are
don't
going to
have to
say who
invite them
to?
either, We don't have to be invited.
No,
We don't have to
we're a
get-
target anyway. We're the lowest tax rate of any surrounding county. Our location, we got a target on our back for that stuff. And I told, just like I tell the people out there, I said, you can blame the federal government for them subsidizing it, because that's the only way it'll fly. I said, you can blame them, because every dollar invested in it is 100% tax deductible. It's a win-win on them billionaires. If they get any return at all on it, it's just a windfall. Plus, they've mandated an accelerated depreciation schedule of 80% depreciation in 10 years with a facility with an economic life of 30 to 40. There's nothing like that in the real world.
And then
That's why we had to work a deal with them to protect the tax rate, our no new revenue rate. And then you blame your neighbor for selling, but that's his priority. It was a windfall to some of them. So, but
when you look at their depreciation versus what we can do with the tax rate, we're capped at 3.5%.
yeah,
And so if they're 8 over 10 in 3 years, we're in the red.
yeah.
So to have some form of abatement to keep that from affecting the no new revenue rate is big, and that's what we're gonna see when this hyperscaler comes in, The pilot with the data center right now, it's just for the landlord, it's just for the buildings.
It's not for the.
But the real money is what goes inside the building. There's been no abatement given to them. Again, we don't want that running through the tax office. There needs to be a small amount so that it doesn't put us in that position where we're forced to lower the tax rate so low that in 3 years, their depreciation, we're not bringing in what we were, and we can't raise the tax rate enough without voter approval to get back up.
When we made the decision on the solar farms, there was $800 million in projects on the books before we decided what direction we were gonna go. Well, that was enough for us to make that decision. Since then, there's 1.8 billion in solar farms in the county worth of, if they all were to materialize and happen, that's 163 million a year right off valuation every year for 10 years. There's no way we can keep up, it'll drive our tax rate down, which is great, but that just makes it that much more. We can't keep up with 3.5%. 3.5% of 25 cents is, if it knocks it down to 25, that's 0.8. That doesn't generate enough to keep up with it. And then you take land values where we are now, they probably got one place to go. If they go trickling down and you take a hit there, we're a runaway train, so we had to protect that. None of us wanted them.
One of the other things is with the solar, it's not gonna bring any jobs here other than the construction.
Yeah.
The construction is gonna bring an enormous amount of jobs. Once they get them constructed and up and going, there's gonna be very little people working here. This data center, as they said, it has 140, maybe a possibility of 140 people working there.
They said 40 per building.
Yeah.
So anyway, and these people that are gonna get jobs there are layman kind of jobs. They're not, people maybe go to TSTC or whatever, some college somewhere that learns these things that they're looking for. And so that would be a lot of jobs that would be coming here too.
And they have reached out to TSTC along with Fairfield ISD with their CTE program. So there will be an opportunity for the kids in this area. I know Wortham is doing some of that, I was told, to get scholarships from this place. Already have a lot of their credits when they leave high school to finish out at TSTC and be provided a job. So that's hiring local with people that are qualified for the positions that they're gonna need to fill. And so when we look at that 10-month build out and then potentially another 6 months, I mean, that means that there's a year, there's a group of kids that's gonna graduate just at the right time to take advantage of that. And hopefully every group after.
And y'all, just so we're transparent, I mean, there's another one in the south end of the county, in my pretty down by NRG. NRG's with, it's on the plans to build 2. All I know is before we make any deal with them, it's a different company. We will tour a facility just like theirs and, find the data. Like the one they're fighting in Leon County, I would be too. They sent me all this, how much water they're using, I would be against it too.
Yeah,
But we gotta be very careful going forward with that one. But it's about 2/3 of it, per the map we saw, it's gonna be in Freestone County. So, I mean, that's on top of this one up here, and it's a data center, with 2 new power plants. So, I mean, there's more coming, that we just don't know. I mean, we're just gonna try to deal with them head on and try and handle them case by case. Because in case, they make sure they fit the mold.
But apparently, the county doesn't have a lot of leverage with controlling what we get in the county.
No. I mean, it goes back to that property, that's like Hood County had proposed a moratorium. Well, I think they got an attorney general, I mean, they had to back off because it's crossing it's kind of crossing a line. And I get it, I mean, I'm a property rights advocate, but I mean, it's just bad. I mean,
Are we confident in the numbers of the amount of water they're saying they use, if these others are using significantly more?
And we double checked that, and even the place we were at was the same system as what they're building out here. So their daily water consumption was from cleaning, flushing the toilet, washing your hands.
Landscaping.
And
Not
so
for
even the
cooling.
water for the pre-fill, which they said would be roughly the size of a large swimming pool, which we're taking as 40,000 gallons, they said that water would be pre-treated and trucked in from out of state.
Yeah.
So even the original 40,000 gallons to fill the system does not come from our aquifer.
So, I mean, it's all in writing, and but that's why we went up there to satisfy ourselves. I mean, because there's so much information out there and misinformation. And we're just trying to let everybody do our due diligence. I mean, I don't know what else we can do. I mean, but apparently they're not apples to apples. So going forward, anyone that comes, I want to go tour where's your other facility? We want to go. We want to see some numbers. We want to see, but this bunch they're talking about being very supportive to the community. It's encouraging. And Fairfield ISD, they're gonna really, me and Kevin, he wrote to me, and I don't wanna misspeak, but, they're a 30-year bond, I think might retire in a third of that time, because schools lose it. If they don't use it, they lose it. And they can build their infrastructure and help the kids. It's gonna be a win-win, I think.
All that being said about this,
We got sidetracked a little bit.
the future of the county, I just hope that y'all see that as a more positive indication that this restoration gets done. Because we'll have more opportunity than ever. So the original opportunity was to get the grant, and we have that now, and we keep that. And this additional opportunity comes in, the amount that we are financially not able to do today, that's not even a factor anymore. That goes totally away. And
once we begin, that will be over maybe like a 3-year period.
could
So
be,
that'll spread it out some.
right.
Keep that in mind.
And as we talk about a jail and we talk about a justice center, my goal has always been that this square that the courthouse sits on, that's all it's on. That there's not a jail there, there's not these power poles and overhead lines, and the Union County Clerk's building is not right there. So there's an opportunity to do the restoration, and then let's finish, because the the THC's goal is for those buildings to be gone, you know, do a complete restoration, but that's not the complete, parcel, the way they look at it. And it's identified in there that our intent, moving forward is for those buildings to be removed one day.
At some point.
So if we prioritize on what has become a huge expense that we didn't foresee in budget last year, which is inmate housing. Just the jails, I guess, as full as it's ever been right now. And we're stuck with a lot of medical and mental inmates, which costs us a lot of money. So next year's budget's gonna look different, and of course, we increased that by about $200,000 last year, and we're not gonna have enough to make the end of this fiscal year. So it's gonna be a large increase to the budget next year. So the sooner that we can get started, working towards a jail,
Addressing
justice
that
center,
immediate problem.
then it's still that, all that happening is still a huge benefit to the grounds around this courthouse. Because when we get the opportunity to empty those two buildings and take them down, then that gets this more like what it was when it was built, which is the overall goal of the Historical Commission.
And you know, with this, talking about the Justice Center and the jail and everything, we were told that when they start on this restoration, that everything has to come out of this courthouse. Now, y'all just think about that for a minute. Where everybody has to go, the offices that we have looked at, and the money that the county was gonna have to spend to place people into these offices. And, because, you know, it's not just the furniture and the desks and stuff like that, it's the internet, making sure that it's secured and everything else. And each building was gonna have to have a different, in our security for our judges, and where the court was gonna be, where the, you know, trying to figure all that stuff out. And if you think about it, you know, with, you know, the Twisted Vine Center was it was a thought back before it was for sale, but now it's for sale. And it's, you know, it's really too big for what we needed. There's a lot to what the county was gonna have to spend to move out of this right now for the restoration to get
On
started.
top of the 2.1.
On top of that. So, you know, if we start a justice center to where we can, when we get ready to do this restoration, we could move straight into there, and then we would take that money that we would spend on having to rent offices or build another temporary office towards the restoration. Because I couldn't fathom, it's just a lot to think about moving everything out of this courthouse.
It could be done. I mean, we had,
Especially if we've done it like I
even right
said.
now, there's people that I've got to call and say, we're gonna put this on hold for a little bit. There's people waiting on that call. So for the office space, it's been located. The one thing that I hadn't found was a place to hold district court. And again, that didn't need to be one big open room. It needs to be your jury deliberation room. It needs attorney-client rooms. And so there's really nothing available that fits that in the county right now. So what we were looking at having to do is build a building, which could be turned into storage, which we're out of storage always in the county. But that was kind of the only option for the district court portion of the move. Everything else, like I say, is there's stuff available. IT guy says we can get the secure internet and stuff. None of it's cheap, and it, you know, it just would take a while for that move to happen. I would hope that we've got a building built between now and then where district court could be housed if there were no justice center. Because again, we've got the real estate, and we're needing additional dry storage. So to put a building up, knowing that we're going to do this restoration and it's going to be beneficial to us while the restoration is going on, I just think it's good pre-planning, especially, you know, getting into budget season this year.
I made a motion about an hour ago.
Got a good one too.
So you are accepting the supplemental today,
We want to accept the
Okay.
supplemental, yes, ma'am.
which I'm not sure how long THC is going to give you.
No.
I'm
That's
really
what we
not.
don't- I mean, we just-
But they came back with 2.6, now they dropped it to 2.1.
Well,
They
the
need to-
numbers spell out to 2.1.
Yeah, maybe they need to, yeah, because, you know, I went back and reread all the motions and everything, and I was kind of surprised at what their total was as well. Because I'm like, your motions don't, that you approved,
Exactly.
Right.
And I read that same thing yesterday,
Yeah,
from the
we-
minutes of their meeting. And
yes.
it really, that's why I was waiting on that email this morning. I'm so glad that they responded in time for Karen to print it off, and, because again, last night, I was expecting to have to tell y'all it was $2.6 million based on the information we had.
Mhm.
Again, that changed this morning, for the better, but just
Right,
not enough, you know, at
Right.
this time. But I definitely want, I love Andy's motion, we accept the supplemental funding, with no intent to start restoration until it has been approved at a future Commissioners Court meeting, which allows us the time to visit, maybe negotiate with the contractor.
Right.
Maybe, you know, we've watched other people, even the San Saba County, you know, they didn't do theirs all at once.
correct, they
Their
came
money
back and
tomorrow, you
got,
know.
right,
It might be smart for us to have our contractor bid us, what about that first floor down there? Because that's kind of the one that, if there's a safety concern, first floor would be the first place to start, you know? And maybe doing that project in an increment, yes, in the long run, it's gonna cost us more money, but it's still not gonna cost what giving away 80% of the overall restoration is worth, you know? So, doing it in segments, I would feel keeps that money alive.
right,
Keeps
and it
that
also
grant.
will help with our cost, I would think. Because if you wait 24 months and revisit, the 10 million is probably not going to be in, your costs are gonna be so much more.
Right.
But like you said, if we could do it in increments,
Yeah.
that would be, I
And
think,
the
better for us
increments,
as a
you know,
county.
when we first put the bid out, and we had a pre-bid meeting upstairs, we had multiple contractors here. That was one of the big questions was, you know, are you gonna do it floor by floor, or we don't have to all move out at one time? And, you know, their consensus was, we can get it, it'll be a lot cheaper on you, and we can get it done a lot faster if y'all are totally out of the courthouse. So that's been our goal, to make it faster and cheaper. But at this point, that, you know, the cheaper part changed
Yes,
when we went from 800,000 to 2.1 million.
yes,
But again, if we're looking at additional funds coming in over the next 24 months, and if we could start in sections, first floor, I think it'd be great, because they cost a little bit more, but it gets us to a point where we've got those funds.
Right.
We're not having to be stingy and say, well, we need that money for over here, you know, and maybe that over here problem is already fixed in the meantime, so.
well, reading through those minutes, I did notice where THC really worked with the other county that they were dealing with in January.
Polk
And
County.
that county disagreed with what THC wanted to do. And you can see in those minutes where THC, they decided, okay, we will go back and revisit what we originally said.
Right.
And I think they agreed with the county. So, you know, they're not so set that they're just blah, blah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you have to do it this way.
Well, as long as we can keep an open discussion with them,
Mhm.
and maybe it comes to something where they, in a future meeting, they can discuss and vote on it.
And maybe if they'd let us do it, like we had asked in the beginning, and
Right.
do it by floors, we could do the district clerk, where the district court is, that would be easy to finish, because we've already got the big courtroom done. So that might,
Yeah.
would
The
help
majority of
solve-
their work in district court was on the balcony, and then the floor.
And then just those offices on the side
Yeah.
need to be done. First or last, either way, if they could just stay
Right.
and continue having court
The
there.
biggest problem with trying to stay in the courthouse was total revamp of the HVAC system. So the 9 or 11 units that we have on top of the roof right now was going to be basically compiled into one big package unit, and all the ventilation was going to change, and then all the electrical was to change. So when they start pulling out all the old wires from that pole that run underground and go into the basement, there wouldn't be any power. And so to do the sections and get the cosmetic work done and then allow that's what would have to be looked at. What can we do that doesn't affect needing to take away the power and the heating and air and save that for last?
Probably have to go out and rebid it because it would cost so much, I think it probably costs so much money because they're having to work around stuff and leave stuff hooked up, so these people can work. It probably have to be rebid on it, and let's see what it costs.
Another thing, we have put a roof on this building, so that's definitely. That's definitely helped the building with the roof on it, to keep other things now from being ruined or rained on or water coming in or whatever, so that's helped. And that's.
And we did get a fresh asbestos study. It's more than that, but we had a fresh study and it came back great. So we don't foresee the unexpected with potential
that's
lead.
good.
That's the other side of the restoration. There's
Yeah.
always that potential of on building an unforeseen, and it's on us to pick up the bill on that, so, yeah. That's a risk.
Do you have that motion written? I have a motion, do I have a second?
I say
Motion and second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Item number 10, I would ask for a motion to table.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Item number 11, the resolution for public safety vehicle listed program, grant number 5840601 from the Criminal Justice Division of Texas Governor's Office, Sheriff Shipley.
That's just to allow me to go out for a grant for ballistic shields and panels for vehicles. I just need y'all's approval on that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I say.
Motion and second, all in favor, aye? Motion carried. Any comments from Mr. Courtroom?
See, we got some chili suppers coming up here. Let's say, Southern Oaks is the 21st.
Dues is on the 14th. I mean, the first one's coming. Yeah.
Southern Oaks is on the 21st, I believe, and Kirby's on the 21st.
Same day.
And due is this week.
Yeah, speaking of those fire departments, did get a text from the Cyrus One people. The money that they agreed to donate, which for the record was after we had made a deal with them. Didn't have anything to do with an abatement or anything like that. But that money is scheduled. I know Mandy sent wiring instructions yesterday. We're expecting it this week. They said before the 15th. So we're expecting that, and that's going to allow us to go ahead and have the truck that we've got spec'd out by Southern Oaks. That dealership will be able to start building that truck. They'll order that. And then we've already gotten 3 quotes for the new digital radios, handhelds, and for all the fire trucks. There will have to be some antennas added and replaced in certain places to make everything work. But we are within that $900,000 budget.
And everybody's gonna be able to talk to everybody then.
That's right.
Right?
And that money to pay for all that.
Yeah.
Because right now, they can't communicate with y'all, can they?
Who?
The fire, and they're limited in their communication with emergencies.
Well, yeah, they can't hear our digital channel.
Okay.
We can still communicate with fire, they don't have a digital channel. That digital channel makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's made a huge difference. It's night and day when our deputies went through it, our officers in the county went through it.
So, this bunch already, that's 1.2 million they've already kicked back to the community, so, in the front end, so that's a kind of a plus, makes, anyway.
Well, I think y'all did a great job today providing the information and explanations on a bunch of stuff today. I think y'all did a good job on that.
Make a motion with adjourn.
I say.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, right? Being adjourned.